And so nobody wants to go through those negative emotions, and so it's easier to just not talk about what areas we need to improve upon. Amway approached her 10 years ago when it happened. What's that all about? Well, I'm going to cover that in today's video with a comment from one of my, viewers here. And so let's get right into it. She says, "Hi Lance, I loved this video." Okay, starting off positive. "I was approached by Amway 10 years ago. I could see how the business model could work, but I didn't appreciate the sale and recruit approach, which I've talked about in other videos, which is more of a traditional network marketing approach. And I also focus on business opportunity as well." And then she said, "It just wasn't for me." So it's good to know what your preferences are. You can communicate that to the person or not. She says, "Present day," so, fast forward, present today, "I got offered holistic mentorship that leverage Amway." Okay, so 10 years ago it was a no-go, but now, hey, something that's more encompassing of other things, and it is a fit. She says it's pretty simple. The main focus is self-development first and foremost, and you've covered these in your video. Being intentional with your time, creating good habits, and looking at the current skill set you have, etc. That's right, so much of what I try to teach is self-improvement, personal development, and when you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right, the basic stuff at the bottom, very top is self-actualization. Only about 2% of people ever, reach that, according to some of the articles that I've read. And I'm not sure if they meant like ever reach it, or if you hit it and then don't hit self-actualization, but basically self-actualization is reaching your highest potential. You can think of some people who have done that, like maybe Albert Einstein or Abraham Lincoln or Elon Musk or Steve Jobs, people who will be remembered for basically the rest of human history because of their impact, their positive impact on society. All right, so yes, are we talking about that level? Maybe not, but maybe, right? You never know. And I think that's really important to try to aspire to get to once all your basic, physical needs are met and other things, and even social needs and stuff like that. Okay. She says the vetting process was 6 to 8 weeks to give myself and anyone else the opportunity to see if this was really for me. Okay, so there's a nice vetting process. A lot of times, so many other people are pressured into making a decision right away, right? We buy emotionally and we justify rationally, so that makes sense with that approach, but that doesn't always translate to maybe giving the other person time to think about things. But there's also another principle too, where the longer you wait to make a decision, typically the less likely you are to make that decision, right? There's postponement, and then there's procrastination, and then there's no execution as well. So I think it really just depends. That's the short answer. Everyone's different. But in general, sales people want you to make a decision quicker, because once they kind of got you in, then it's, pretty much good to go. But what I look at also is what's someone's needs and goals, and am I really offering something of value based on what they're looking for, because then it'll be a better fit. So she then says, "At no point did I feel pressure to do anything I didn't want to do." Okay, well that's good, because a lot of cases that's not the case. All right, she says, "I don't know any businesses or network marketing opportunities, and trust me, I've been approached by plenty, that encourage a budget session as the first step after launching, and to have a plan to eliminate any debt you may have as a priority." All right, so she's talking about, how do you plan for your finances or your cash flow statement or your budget? Budget's such an unfriendly word from what some financial service people told me. So they say cash flow statement, which is a little bit sexier, right? I know with the company I'm with, they do have a program to help get you out of debt, and they give you like little milestones and little rewards for that. And, that's just obviously on the individual's free will and free time to do that. And for this person, yeah, having a budget in general is great. I recommend people, if it's not a part of your team or the person you're enrolled with or your company, then outsourcing that aspect with Dave Ramsey, Financial Peace University, and really looking at, hey, what's coming in and what's going out of all my accounts, right? Bank accounts, retirement accounts, other things, savings, checkings, accounts, all that. And that will help you monitor what's going on. Again, that's not a very popular topic, but if you're not getting it from the people you enrolled with, because maybe that's not what you want from them, right? or maybe that's not what they offer, then outsourcing it. And again, Dave Ramsey is a good starting point. There's other people that talk about that as well. I do have a number of tools that I use as well. Mint.com, that's free. It basically monitors all of your finances in one spot, so that makes it really easy to do things. I do have the Stash app, which I've talked about in other videos, where it's a investment app and retirement account app. And that way I have, between those two apps, Mint.com and Stash, I'm able to see my personal finances and my investments really easily and monitor things and make moves nicely. So it works out really well for me. I love it, actually. I absolutely love doing that. It makes it fun. All right. Then she says, yes, they have monthly ordering standard. However, it's just a standard. It's not an amount that is forced upon someone, especially if it's not within your means. Yeah, I think the anti-MLM people really get on that, and I've talked about that in maybe the video she's referencing. They're really like, you gotta pay this, or it's a certain amount. It's just like, well, time out. Like, minimum order quantities are a part of any business when you're ordering inventory. Now let's talk about not the fact that it exists, but the amount may be based on what your own needs and goals are from a consumption standpoint, or if you're offering them retail or wholesale in person to people. I mean, that's really that should be what should be talked about more. It's not, but again, that's why I do these videos, is to provide more insight and perspective on things. And just another way to look at things, because I think sometimes people are just got the blinders on, especially anti-MLM. All right, people. All right, she then follows up and finishes and says, this is a really quick summary of my experience this time around. Oh, wait, no. She says, it's unfortunate people have bad experiences. Amway, to me, this time around, isn't a bad business. It's the people who choose to use. Or maybe who you choose to use. Or that those people use other people. Yeah, I think lumping everyone in one box and then overgeneralizing is not a good idea. I think we should handle things on a case-by-case basis. But if you see patterns, then it's important to jump to conclusions slowly, or come to conclusions slowly, not jump, because jump implies quickness. But you come to conclusions slowly and you hold on to them loosely as more or better information comes in. I think that's the most prudent or wise way to look at things in general. But I'm not going to over-generalize and say that's the only way or the best way. But it is a wise way to do things, because then you give room for improvement. Otherwise, people are just so close-minded that they don't allow anything to alter or improve. It's about accuracy. That's what it is. And then she says, this is a really quick summary of my experience this time around, but just wanted to say I digged the video. Well, I appreciate you for leaving the comment and sharing a little bit about your journey. It's more rare to find somebody who was presented with a network marketing opportunity 10 years ago and then circle back around and say, hey, based on the current situation, now it's a fit. Because a lot of people either got burned, or they blame, or they shame the person, the product, the company, and they're just like now anti-MLM, or they've never been a part of an MLM company, and I see other people videos, and they're just like, let me just read some Reddit posts about all these Huns or Hun bots, or all these people that are pushing and peddling all these network marketing products, and they've never been in one themselves, which doesn't necessarily discount what they say, but you clearly know where they're coming from, and I would just question whether or not they're being objective. And that's what I try to provide. I know that network marketing isn't perfect, but it is better from what I've found from a time and freedom standpoint. And there's a lot of things that determine one's success, and it's not just financial. And I think so many anti-MLM people just focus on the financial aspect if they're talking about that, and not all the personal development things that need to go on. And I believe that is because nobody wants to admit any personal wrongness. Nobody wants to admit any type of maturity or skills gaps. Nobody wants to, admit that they can improve, because it implies that something isn't where it needs to be. And nobody likes that negative or bad feeling of guilt or shame or maybe anxious feelings or maybe even anger, right? And so nobody wants to go through those negative emotions. And so it's easier to just not talk about what areas we need to improve upon. But I encourage people to do the hard work, which is self-reflection, introspection, personal development, self-improvement, doing all that with not just, watching my videos, which is great, I appreciate it. Also books and seminars and workshops and other people's videos that are focused on how do you become more responsible, or how do you have more empathy, Or how do you become more self-aware? That's huge, right, of your words and actions. What about humility? How do you practice that? How do you learn that? What about reliability? How reliable you are with your word and your actions? I mean, there's so many aspects. But anyways, that concludes today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click the like button if you did. Share this video with somebody that would benefit from it. And most importantly, check out the links in the description below so you can continue to get your learn on. And there's some resources down there if you're interested in some personal development as well. And other than that, I will see you in the next video.